Hold on tight.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Julia and I like to vlog on this channel, but every once in a while I will do sit down videos to answer your questions so that you guys can get to know me a little bit better. And if you couldn't already tell by the title, we are going to be doing a college Q&A today, so I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me questions, all things college, so parties, how to make friends, classes, just anything about college. So that's what today's video is going to be. You guys should definitely subscribe to this channel because you're already here, so why not? So at the end of this video, you will see a picture of me, and if you click on it, you can subscribe right from there. Also, don't forget to turn on my post notifications, that way you're updated every time I upload a new video, and I don't think I breathed during that whole entire sentence. So I asked you guys on my Instagram to ask me questions about college, and I got so many questions, so I don't think I'm going to be able to answer all of them, but I will try to do my best, kind of like, you know, summarize my answers. Also, if you guys are not already doing so, you should definitely follow me on my Instagram. That way you can participate in any upcoming polls, because I like to do polls on my Instagram stories a lot about videos that I should do. And I also did the Q&A questions, and you guys can ask me questions that way, because I know everyone loves whenever people do those ask me question things on their Instagram stories. Honestly, it's pretty annoying. But I'm a hypocrite because I did it once, but that may or may not have been because I wanted someone to ask me a question and they actually did, and yeah, okay. So without further ado, let's get into the questions. Also, if you guys didn't know, I go to IUP, represent. So the first question is kind of more like asking me for advice, which I'm flattered. I don't really know if I give the best advice, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, so here's the first one. I'm not a big partier and I'm worried I won't make any friends since friends are usually made at parties. How did you make your friends in college? Honestly, I don't think I met any of my friends in college at parties, and if I'm being honest, I'm not like the biggest partier. I can do just fine without going to parties. I can have just as much fun sober than being drunk. I met my very first friend at IUP at orientation like months prior to my freshman year, and I honestly think that that is the best way to meet people, because you meet people before you actually head to college, so when you get to college you already know some people. So if you already passed that stage, if you already passed your orientation, and you're like, crap, I didn't make any friends at orientation, how am I going to make friends at school? I would just say that on the very first day of class to sit next to someone. It doesn't matter who they are, just go and sit next to someone, because honestly, if you're sitting next to someone, you're going to say hi. I mean, if you sit next to someone and they completely ignore you, then they're just rude. That would be my biggest advice. Just step out of your comfort zone, even if you are a shy person. I was a very shy person my freshman year, and I want you guys to learn from my freshman year mistakes, because thank God I came out of my shell my sophomore year when I met my new roommates, because I don't know what I would have done. Literally, like my freshman year, I honestly wish I could go back to and kind of like change and live more of the college life, but I didn't have a college life, so learn from my mistakes, step out of your comfort zone, sit next to a person that you think would be a nice person to sit next to and be friends with, and say hi to them and just try to start a conversation. And to be completely honest, it's kind of hard to meet people at parties, because even whenever you do like meet someone and introduce yourself to someone, chances are they're not going to remember it afterwards, and you'll see them on campus a couple days later and you'll like look at them, want to wave, and then they're like, how do I know you? Your face looks familiar, but I don't exactly know how, because they were drunk. So I would honestly say meet your people in classes, and chances are you'll have things in common if you're taking the same classes too. So that's my advice on that question. I feel like that was really long. I'm already at like 7 minutes. Okay. Oh, this is a really good question. What if my roommate and I don't get along? If you guys saw my last sit down video, I did a roommate story time, and I will actually link it down below for you guys if you're interested in watching it. But my freshman roommate and I didn't get along very well, and I mean, it's in the past now, it's whatever. My biggest advice for if you're roommate and you don't get along is to just tell you that you are your own person. You don't have to get along with your roommate. You're just living with them. Go out and meet new friends and hang out with them as much as you possibly can, because I was lucky enough my freshman year to have a separate room than my roommate, so like I had my own space and she had hers, so that was the good thing about it. It definitely is awkward whenever your roommate and you don't get along, because then it's like you are given the silent treatment all the time. Trust me, I've been there. But I would just have to say that you are your own person. Go out and make new friends, meet people, go out to parties, hang out at their place as much as you possibly can, because at the end of the day, you're only living with the person. You don't have to be best friends with them. Okay, so this question has nothing to do with the college Q&A, but it's actually from my roommate Lauren. She asks, OMG, who's that in your pic? She's hot. That's me. Thanks, girl. Okay, next question. It's not really 100% accurate, but I'm gonna read it anyways. What's it like to be famous and go to college? I'm not famous, but thanks, Nikki. Okay, so this is a good question. What is move-in weekend like? I'm going to be brutally honest with you and tell you that it is hell. Not even joking you. Whenever I was moving into my freshman dorm and my sophomore dorm, I was so excited on the drive up there. But then once you hit the parking lot and everyone is like going crazy and there's all this chaos going on at the same time, everyone's trying to find one of those big carts, and then you have to unload your whole entire truck or car or whatever you brought that day onto the streets, and it's just a lot of chaos. So be ready for all of this chaos because it is honestly crazy. And I am so glad that we renewed our lease in our apartment last year so that we could keep all of our stuff in our apartment over the summer, besides like clothes and all that, you know. It's just not a fun time. And usually it's like really hot out that day because it's still part of the summer and you're literally dripping sweat. And I don't really sweat that much, but on those days I did. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully it didn't really like scare you away. It's just one day. I'm probably being really dramatic about it, but I am a girl also, and the person who asked me this question is a guy, so maybe it'll be different for you. Maybe you don't have as much stuff as I do, but being a girl, you literally have like all these suitcases and duffel bags and everything that you brought from your room at home. It's going up to your school. That's basically how girls move in, but you're a guy, so maybe it'll be different for you, but I hope I didn't scare you too much. What did your schedule look like freshman year, and did you have a job during the year as well? I honestly don't remember my freshman schedule too well, to be honest with you, but I do remember a couple mental breakdowns, so I'm guessing that it was pretty hard. But to answer your second question, I did have a job during the school year, but it wasn't on campus, and my college is only like 45 minutes from my home, so I would go home on some of the weekends, most of the weekends, because my roommate and I didn't get along. And I would go home to work. So I did have a job while I was a freshman in college, but it didn't really interfere with anything because I was only working on weekends. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. I did have a job, but it didn't really interfere with my schoolwork because I was just going home on the weekends to work. It wasn't like I was working during the weekdays, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. And I actually still have that job now, and I have been doing just fine with keeping my schoolwork, you know, on a good level, and also trying to balance my money as well because, oh boy, being a broke college student is very rough. What is some advice for incoming freshmen at IUP? So IUP has a reputation, and a lot of people say that it's a big party school, and also people call IUP I usually party. But honestly, any school can be a party school, in my opinion. It just depends on who you hang out with, and if you like to party, then great. If you don't, then find friends that don't like to party. They are out there. I was like that my freshman year. I literally don't think I went to one, actually I went to one party my whole freshman year. I was so cool. But my biggest advice is just to not let those like stereotypes get to you, because if you're not into all of that drinking stuff and party stuff, don't give in to peer pressure. And it's like that at every college, so I'm not just saying that that's how IUP is, but I know that a lot of people, whenever you're at a party, they'll ask you if you want to have a drink or whatever, and a lot of people might feel pressured and think that they have to say yes, but you really don't. So my biggest advice would just be to not give in to peer pressure, because you never know what's going to happen if you have way more to drink than you think you can handle. But also, I do recommend to go out and have fun. You don't have to drink when you go to parties. So many people think that you have to be like plaster drunk to make friends at parties and have a good time. I have to say, there have been times that I went to parties in the past and I didn't drink that much beforehand, so I wasn't even drunk, and I still had such a good time. So you don't have to actually go out and get plaster drunk all the time. What was the biggest difference between high school and college? So one of the biggest differences is that you have to learn to be independent, obviously, because you're going to college, especially if you're living on your own. Sometimes people commute and they're still living at home, but if you're living at your university, you definitely have to learn how to be independent. Also, you don't have your mom to tell you that you have to go to school if you're like playing the like I'm sick card. Who cares? You're independent, you're on your own, so if you want to play the I'm sick card and you don't really feel like going to class, you really don't have to. I'm not telling you guys to skip class. I'm just kind of putting it out there that these are the differences. Your mom doesn't have to tell you to go to class. If you really don't want to, you really don't have to. I'm just kidding. Go to class, seriously. Okay, I might actually not put that in because parents are gonna come for me. You have to grow up, you have to become more of an independent person, you have to do your laundry yourself, you have to get food for your apartment or dorm or wherever you're living. Everything is just done independently. And if you did that kind of stuff in high school, then props to you, you're already doing a great job. But I definitely had to learn how to be independent. What's your biggest advice for getting out of a rut when you're not feeling motivated in college? This has happened to me so many times, especially last year. I have just felt so unmotivated for anything, and I also, doing YouTube on the side is just like a hobby. I also didn't really feel very motivated to film videos, and that's whenever you know that I'm in a funk, because if I don't feel like filming videos, then there's something wrong with me. Especially last semester, I was going through a lot and I didn't feel very motivated to do schoolwork. I have a really amazing support system, and I honestly couldn't thank my friends and my family for that enough. But having my roommates also be my best friends helped me a lot through the school year. All of my roommates get in that funk where they're just feeling unmotivated. The amount of times that my roommates and I talk about how much we want to drop out of school is an unlimited amount of times. Like, we say that probably on the daily, but at the end of the day, we are all very like helpful and supportive towards each other, and I think that's what really helps, is to have a really good support system. And I'm just really grateful for the support system that I have, because I probably wouldn't have been able to pick myself out of my funk without my friends and my family. So another question, have you ever thought about transferring to a different university in previous years? Honestly, no. I have been in love with IUP's campus since I toured it for the very first time like years ago. I think it was like the beginning of my senior year of high school that I toured IUP, and I fell in love with the campus. And then I went to visit a couple other schools, and I just wasn't like too crazy about it, and I knew that I definitely felt more connected to IUP than I did at any of the other colleges that I visited, but IUP is a really good college, I have to say. Okay, so I'm only going to answer one more question because I feel like this video is going to be very long. Maybe I'll do like a part 2. I saved a pretty good one for last because I know that a lot of people might actually want to hear an answer to this question. I got asked, is it hard to maintain a relationship in college? Yes and no. This kind of question is so hard for me to answer because obviously, I had relationships in college and they didn't work out, but I'm not saying that it won't work out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you want to have a relationship in college, you will make it work, no matter what. So I went into my freshman year of college dating someone that I had been dating years prior to that, and we made it through my whole freshman year, and halfway through my sophomore year, and I broke it off because I wanted to see what else was out there, because I had been dating him since I was a sophomore in high school, and I honestly felt like we were more friends than we were boyfriend-girlfriend, and I just didn't want to keep dragging it on any longer because it wasn't fair to him and it wasn't fair to me. So I'm actually really good friends with my ex-boyfriend that I was dating for like 4 years, so he probably wouldn't care if I'm talking about this. Then I have to say I lived the college life that I've always wanted to live, I guess, and you know, I learned things from it, and that's what you have to do. Honestly, making those mistakes in life, you learn from those mistakes and they make for good stories later on in life. Whenever you have kids someday, you can go and tell them those crazy college stories. But I am saying that I had 2 relationships in college and they just didn't happen to work out, but I'm not saying that they won't work out for you guys if you have a relationship in college. But that's all I really have to say about that question. I know that probably wasn't the best advice, but I get a lot of questions about whenever I would be dating someone, they'd be like, how do you have a relationship in college? Don't you just want to be single? And I'm like, not really. Like, after college, that's kind of whenever everything starts settling down and you want to start thinking about like being with someone for the rest of your life. And I've never been the kind of person who wanted to like hook up with people. Like, whenever I date someone, I date them because I actually see a future with them, and I'm not the kind of person that would just go around hooking up with different people. So all I have to say about that question is, if you really want to be with that person, you will make it work through any of the challenges that you have to face. So yeah, that's the last question that I'm going to answer for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I gave you some good advice here and there, hopefully. Sorry if I didn't get to your question. Hopefully I will do a part 2 of college Q&A. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Definitely give this video a big thumbs up if I gave you some good advice. And I will see you guys in my next video, which is probably going to be birthday videos because my 21st birthday is coming up and I'm definitely going to vlog some of it, probably not whenever I'm going out because I probably won't be like with it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, all of those videos are coming to a YouTube near you soon, so yeah, be excited for that. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!